We all love a good story. Stories of love and life. Stories that entertain and inspire. And the best stories are the ones that happen to be true. Every Friday night, Jack Devnerine is live in conversation with an iconic South African personality who shares the true stories that shape their remarkable lives. Join us for reality radio as real as it gets. From 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. every Friday night. Only on 919. Reality radio, as real as it gets, only on 919.
Hey everyone, happy Friday. You're listening to 919. My name is Jack Devnerine and this is Reality Radio. It's as real as it gets. Every Friday night from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. where we have a guest live in studio to talk about the incredible stories that shaped their remarkable lives. Tonight, my dear friend Motshabi Tyelele, award-winning actress. She is a playwright, she is a coach as well, and she's just one of the most inspiring people to see on stage, film or TV. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Do you know one of those things that I just always remember, like when we meet casually, outside of the working environment, is I always appreciate how you just have this effortless ability to make me laugh. I don't know how you do it. There's a lightness that you carry with you.
Well, thank you.
That is just so remarkable, and I enjoy it so much.
Thank you. It's just being self and not taking one's too seriously, obviously.
But I know you take yourself seriously, though.
I really don't.
Are you sure? 'Cause
I know that I have a serious side to me.
Yeah.
But life is too short. Life is fun.
Yeah.
Life is about love and just enjoying who you have, celebrating them. So I don't take myself serious. It is only when matters call for that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we think we have to be, no. So
and people assume that of performers, don't they?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And particularly when you have been seen as a comedy actress, or people think you fluffy and, so you've always have to say, no, come back.
Yeah.
This is me, you see?
Yeah.
And this is how we're going to tackle each other, to deal with each other.
Of course. And you really deal with some difficult issues in the work that you do. You're not afraid of anything. You'll go there.
We have to. I think it is an actor or an artist role to do. That is our calling. We have to go where the world, the rest of the people are scared to go.
Yeah.
We have to say the things that people can only say at dinner tables in hushed tones. We are the ones who have to say, no, all of us, let's hear these things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I'm so glad you mentioned that, though, because even though we consider it our sacred duty to be able to speak the quiet part out loud, not many performers do that because there are rules that will give you work, and if you break them, you'll find yourself without work. So people are careful, I think. But to go back into your journey, when did you realize that it was a calling for you and that you were being called to be a performer?
Check, my brother. When? I don't know. It could be as young or as far back as I was in crash,
Really?
at nursery school.
Yes.
When you have a classmate who's ill and they say, all right, we're going to have a group of you. We're going to visit Jack. He's not well. And somebody has to sing. We walk from, the nursery school to the the patient's home singing. Who's going to lead? It's me.
Yeah.
You
see, Tubbs, this is what I'm talking about.
And I take the duty, the role seriously.
Yeah.
And we sing, I go into the next song. And then, of course, you get to the world around you. It's, your family gives you comfort, love, and everything.
Yeah.
You get out of the world, there's apartheid, there's this. And then you begin to see things differently. And you still don't know. But even in high school, you're in debating societies, because you argue things, you question things. And then in high school, post high school, you go to varsity, you do drama, you're the only black woman in there, and there's something is wrong here, and about 5 young black boys, men, and we're still
young
boys
men.
and girls there,
Yeah.
young men, yes. And then you just see the status quo. And then already, it's telling you, but what is interesting is also that my first choice was BSc in medicine, I think.
Really?
And then my second choice was commerce.
Yeah.
And then my third was the arts.
So everything else but the arts.
Yeah. But you see, the universe will take you where you're supposed to go.
Yeah.
So I remember at Waterford, every time I had artists from South Africa, we used to have artists from South Africa and all over the world. And something would talk to me, particularly when the performances were brilliant.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing Stephen Jennings, who came to do, what was that wonderful play that I loved? It was about matriculants on matric day. And it was just beautiful. I have never seen performances like that. It was like real, and I thought, I want to go where they went. That's where I want to go train, and they were from UCT and Rhodes at the time. And I knew that I have to go there,
There was just a moment of certainty.
Yeah. And the other thing is that, yes, you have all these other choices. You get to varsity, you can't find your application form in the department that you because it's that first choice.
Yeah.
And we had to phone the department, and I landed there. So it took me where I was supposed to be. And then my father died actually in 1986. And this was the time when, when you feel you want to express something in you, whether it's release pain or whatever it was. And I think the arts helped me on that journey.
That's a powerful thing, because, years later, you are able to take that ability to teach people the tools of performance, to express their innermost emotional feelings. Their emotional reality can be expressed in a form of therapy by using performance techniques.
Yes. It's like we always say, go to that moment.
Yeah.
We all have that. You know, in our lives, there was a moment in your life that really made you cry. There was a moment, where you felt pain in your womb, if you don't have a womb in your, wherever, in your stomach,
Yeah.
So we can always get there. It's the how, as you say, the technique. So, yeah.
Yeah. So that became a whole journey on its own, because first you were there just to discover those tools for yourself.
Yeah.
And then years later, you are teaching other people to use those tools as well.
Yes, sir.
That's beautiful.
It is beautiful. And isn't it about life, really? Because life is about also giving what you have, sharing what you know, teach when you are able to teach, imparting what we have. Otherwise, what's the point?
Your dad was a profound influence in your life, wasn't he?
Oh, he was. And by the way, he was a no-name brand. You know?
What do you mean no-name brand?
No, like we always think, it's got to be a Mandela. He was a Mandela in his own space. A simple man, but who impacted so many people in the world. When my father died, the one thing that I was amazed with, he never went to church. in his life. The only time he attempted to go to church, I think I was about 5, and Father Christmas was giving kids a gift,
Yes.
in church, and Papa said, "I'll take you to church." But he dilly-dally, he was like, and then by the time he knew that, it's about to to end
Yes.
the service, he says, "Let's go." And as we were approaching my church, kids are coming out.
And that was you. One memory after the next. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back. Motshabi is going to tell us the stories that shaped her amazing life. It's Reality Radio on a Friday night.
Reality Radio. As real as it gets.
They say nothing ever lasts. But what about the Fast and Furious franchise? Or showing Anaconda 2 for Friday Action Night? Or how Brooke is still forgiving Ridge Forrester like 50 seasons in? And then there's Burger King's Whopper Meal deal, which is still going strong. So get your hands on 2 flame-grilled Whoppers topped with the freshest ingredients, plus 2 portions of crispy golden fries and 2 bottomless drinks for only 130 Rand. Only at Burger King, where good things do last.
Reality Radio.
Daryl Root talking movie making.
One of my favorite filmmakers is a guy called Werner Herzog. Someone once asked him at school, "So Mr. Herzog, which film school is the best film school?" And he said, "Travel the world for 10 years, then come and ask me that question." Learn about life.
Learn about life.
That can go into your film. You got to learn about life, and you put life into your movie. You don't just put another movie that you've seen into the movie.
Yeah.
The problem with the younger generation today, they're doing that. Everything is derivative. There's no more life.
Only on 919.
Motshabi Tyelele on Reality Radio Friday night with me, Jack Devnarine. Welcome back. Some of those beautiful stories that you share so well. You describe the picture really well. So I'd like to explore more of those with you. So your dad never went to church, right?
No,
Okay.
as far as I remember, no.
And what did that have an effect on you? Did that make you want to explore what this church thing was, or did it turn you away from it? Did you discover that later on in your life?
On the contrary, because his deeds followed him, and it was the opposite. It was like a man who really, really knew God. The one thing he taught us was the love of God.
Yeah.
And the fear of God. My dad used to say, like, don't be fearful of a person, human being that you can see, eyes to the, be fearful of God. And his deeds, everything that he did, my dad was a good man, And as I was telling you during the break, that it was funny because at the time, having not been to church, set his foot in church, but there were churches that wanted to bury him when he died.
Yeah.
Like, no, Bujo, because they knew him. Bujo had this. There were people who came at home and we didn't, I met Bujo, and he did this, he did that. He was just an honest man also. Those are the lessons that I just got from my father, being honest and fair, but principally love God and be fearful of that.
It's a strange thing, as I was growing up and also post my father's own passing, there were people who come to me every once in a while and they'll introduce themselves and they'll explain to me how they knew my dad. And it's some crazy relationship, involving other members of the family that I barely even know. But they find there's an urgency to wanting to explain to me how they know my dad and something that my dad did for them, or something that happened to them where my dad helped out. And it always strikes me as, but my dad never told me that. You always feel as if you only get to know half the person that your parents are.
Yeah. I feel sometimes I was fortunate because there were moments with my father. It was almost like he knew that he is going to die whilst we're young,
sure.
There were times when he would say things that for a 9-year-old should go over your head. And then now when I look at who I am and how, what life is all about and the things that inform how I, deal with people, I realized that this is what my father said to me when I was 9.
You see, yeah.
It's like he knew that I was going to be famous, because he would say things like, my baby, it's very easy to climb up the ladder. But the how you climb up will determine the severity of the fall, because life happens. So sometimes maybe you might slip, you might fall. But, if you acknowledge all those below who are really, elevating you, then the day it happens, you slip, they will be there to actually hold you. So, and you look back and you think, I think I have climbed up the ladder.
Yes.
And I have to keep my humbleness.
Yeah.
I must remain humble, because that's what he was teaching me. To say whatever success is in your life, whether you become famous or what, just never, take people for granted. People that may be at the, lower levels, or people who supported you.
Yeah.
Because you are not just going to be like a,
No, of course. And I think over the years, and you've been on so many hugely popular drama series and sitcoms and soapies, you've practically been on them all, right? So it's, what it feels like when people recognize you, people in some crazy out of the way places that you think people don't even have a TV here, but they still know you.
Oh, they would. They would. The funny thing, they would even know you from the back.
Is it really?
And I probably blame it on Suburban Bliss, because those minis, those short, I swear, South Africans know me from the back, from behind. I'm like, Jesus,
Yes.
You'd hear people arguing.
All sides of you.
Look, they know the shape of my legs. They're like, it's her. Oh God,
that's fantastic. But people love you. People love you for that.
They do, and I love them back. I really, really love them.
And that's part of the respect we're talking about.
Yes,
humility.
Yes. And I really appreciate it. I'm grateful for that. I don't take it for granted. And I hope I can still play a certain role, because we are not given that for no reason.
Yeah.
So that love must be used correctly.
So here's the question then.
Yes, sir.
How do we use that love? How do we use the platform that we've been given? How do we take the love and respect, the platform that we are placed on, that we honor, that we really do honor? What do we do with that?
Jack, I want to... How do we do that? By seeing the bigger role. As I said earlier, that as actors, for example, as artists, we have a role to help society. Right now we are in a mess, but who helps heal the nation? Who helps? So our responsibilities are actually hectic, are huge, but we underestimate that. Now, it is imperative on us to say, as artists, what do we do? How do we actually teach where the other, whether it's education, fails us? How do we help? How do we guide? How do we inspire people? Because people are depressed now. We just went out of COVID. Yeah. So as artists, what do we do? It's being authentic and being honest. It's writing that song that it's speaking to you. It's not editing. It's not you stopping yourself before.
Yeah, not filtering.
Express, yes. Write the story. Tell that person that story. Sing that song.
Yeah.
Don't. We are not supposed to. What's the restrictions for language here?
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't pussyfoot around issues.
Of course.
And I feel that to a very large extent, personally, and I say it, with all due respect to my fellow artists, I do feel that we fail our society. We really do fail our society. I don't see, and I'm not saying we should be like the artist in the 60s, 90s, whatever, I'm sure younger people will come with a different energy. But when where I'm sitting, I'm like, how can so much go so wrong sometimes, and there's no artist voice that I hear? That is a voice that is responsible, that builds, that questions, that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not just to make noise, not just for the sake of that, you see. But where are the creatives? Are we writing stories that build our people?
I think that's such a profound question, and I think it also links into how how we engage with our industry and how people as audiences engage with us and our industry as well. Because there was a time, as you say, if it was accepted that if you wanted to go and get some cutting insights into how we feel about apartheid, for example, 40 years ago, we'd go to theatre and protest theatre, and we'd be able to hear the thoughts of the writers, the playwrights and the actors. Now, we have social media. Now, it's no longer, news at 6:30. It's all changed.
Yes, it
And
is.
with that, I get a sense that the rules of engagement have changed as well. It feels as if the responsibility is even greater
It is.
on the performers
Yeah.
to start making the voices heard. Because you can't rely on the platforms that we created. All those platforms have changed.
Yes.
Time, technology has all changed.
Yeah.
So where are we now if you're going to remain relevant?
Move with the times.
Yeah.
Get into that social media. And I always say, the thing is we shouldn't follow because everybody is doing this.
Yeah.
You must always do what feels right at the time, what is important at the time. I sometimes feel that we forgot, as South Africans, we just forgot the important things also that build us, that, as a nation, as a people. And then we were fluffing, all over.
Yeah.
And as a result, the authentic self, I'm missing it. The authenticity. E.g., we're not even telling stories that teach our children where we come from.
Right, exactly.
That in itself
Yes.
says a lot. You see?
Yeah, I worry about that because there are lessons to be learnt about where we come from.
Yes. We are not writing books. We are
Yeah.
not. I don't see that. And I'm including myself, you see. I'm
Yeah.
saying we, because I feel, we are not celebrating enough. I mean, if you look at other nations, what they do with even with the people, their leaders that they respect, or anybody who's mattered in them. What with us? Where's our legacy? Our people, the forefathers who have. There's nothing that I see tangible there.
Yeah.
You go to our schools, our kids don't know anything about our history.
That's a scary thought.
It is.
So, since we are moving with the times, I need to ask, are you on social media? You see,
She talks too
what
much,
I
but
was
she's not
just-
even on that. No, I am, but you see,
Yeah.
okay, I am. I think I'm on Facebook. I'm on. I almost said Twitter X.
Yes.
You see, at least I'm clued
Okay,
up.
fair enough. Yeah.
And then and young people. Tads used to say Ntati Moshesh,
Yes.
just get Instagram. I'm like, I can't be updating that I'm drinking water now in the studio.
You see what she's saying now about Ntati, hey?
And take a
That's what she's saying about Ntati Moshesh, is that Ntati will post every time she's doing something.
No. No, my argument is that to her, I said, Tads, every time now I have to inform people that I'm
Yeah.
here. I do. Some of these things, I think I'm also a private person.
I know you
So-
are. I know you, and I'll tell
Yeah.
you why. Because in starting the promos for tonight's show,
Yes.
I had to look for pictures of Motshabi. I could not find pictures anywhere. I asked Motshabi's agent, don't you have pictures of Motshabi? I need to start the advertising for my show. The agent started to laugh at me. So this is the reality of this private person. But we're going to hear more stories from her. We're going to come back. We'll take a break right now. But Reality Radio continues this Friday night. Join us after the break.
919 has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Under the code, we are committed to giving news that is accurate, comment that is fair, programming that is not harmful to children and that does not amount to hate speech or the description of gratuitous violence or explicit sex. If you think we're not living up to that code, you can inform the BCCSA. Direct any complaints in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa to PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024, or email the BCCSA at napsa.co.za. For more information, visit the bccsa.co.za. We all love a good story. Stories of love and life. Stories that entertain and inspire. And the best stories are the ones that happen to be true. Every Friday night, Jack Tyelele is live in conversation with an iconic South African personality who shares the true stories that shape their remarkable lives. Join us for reality radio as real as it gets. From 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. every Friday night, only on 919.
It's reality radio on a Friday night with me, Jack Tyelele, in studio. Motshabi, Tyelele, my dear friend, the award-winning actress, playwright, voice artist, and coach. I wanted to know what your interest in developing skills amongst young people. You have a particular place in your heart. You love working with young people.
I really do. And I feel, again, I'm failing young people now because I have not actively done it. Every production where I work, I always try to impart certain skills and with them. But I feel I need a bigger platform to do that, and I haven't done that. Part of it is because we all have to earn a living and work, and you're out of the country, you come back, you are in productions, and then you are busy, and you never really get to do that. But I'm getting older now, so maybe that's the right age.
You keep saying it, but I can't see that you're getting older. I cannot see that you have aged anything in the last 30 years.
I have. Well, it's God's grace.
Exactly.
Hallelujah. It's God's grace. But I'm passionate about that. And like I was saying even earlier, that we are not even telling stories. I think this is the time now when we have to reach out to those young people who are on the streets, bring them back. Because through storytelling, we will be able to correct a number of things. I really believe that. If we could bring even the culture of youth clubs. Remember we used to have, those, let them thrive, even in schools, have drama actively. I would really love to do that. And
I would so be there to support you. You know what I miss? As I've aged and I look back.
So he says, and he's also looking so young.
I've earned the grade. Okay. I've earned my grade.
No, I've got a few. Are we going to compare?
Yeah. I'll show you mine if you show me yours. I remember that there were these little groups of youth gatherings. Occasionally we'd meet. There'd be board games. There'll be sports.
Yeah.
And what has changed over the years for me, and as I look back, is that it feels as if the youth today want to short circuit the path to being grown up. They want to be involved in the big people's discussions. They want to start driving. They want to start including themselves in the decision making. They want to be out on social media, influencing people's behavior. Buy this, try that, wear that, taste this. When there is a joyfulness to being young where you actually don't need to make those decisions. It's okay. Yeah. It's going to come. Save it.
Yeah. But also even the thing of it's going to come, save it. But give yourself time to also listen to those who came before you.
Exactly.
Just
time.
Take a moment.
Take
to
time
learn.
to listen. Yes.
Yeah,
because we still do that, right?
Yeah. You're going to burn yourself. Just take it easy.
Yeah.
You don't know it. In fact, I think most of the young people, and maybe it's a problem with young people, and probably we were also like that. We think we know.
I have no doubt we were like this.
Yeah, we think we know. But I think the younger ones now, there are challenges. There's more because the world is like that.
Yeah.
And therefore, and there's so much dangerous stuff out there. So groundedness, so for me, it's like, please just ground yourself. Find your. I always say, find your get rooted.
Yeah.
Just be grounded, because when that wind blows, then you'll just sway. But if you're still not grounded, and then you get into, you're going to be swallowed up. And then that's why we're going to lose you.
Oh, there are stories in that, as you describe it. There's so many stories right there. Yeah. Because I so agree that, in today's world, people have so much power now, especially, if you're talking about social media. Young people have the power at their fingertips to ruin other people's lives. And they do this cyber bullying, social media bullying, trolling. And it actually gives people a sense of delight and empowerment to think that, look how I've ruined them. I made them upset. I got them to, to be fearful. And this is how we support each other in showing each other the power that we have. And as you say, we need to believe in the values that we are raised in.
Yeah. We, without those values, you're going to be, I always say the level of consciousness, because somehow this space lessens the level of consciousness. That's just me and when that level is so low, then I feel sorry, because then there's nothing that holds you, that makes you think and see another human being as worthy of respect and love and care. When you are at that lowest, that's what you know. So the values are very important. And where we now have such a high rate of, whether it's homes with child-headed families where there's nobody there to groom children. And now whether it's in schools now, there are no prayers. There's all those things, for me, makes us really lost. And that's why the young people would feel like they have to bully other people, because the basic foundation is not there. Now, a house without a foundation, the walls are going to fall.
And people often express their frustration and sense of loss through anger. It can manifest as anger and violence, doesn't it?
Yes. And why are we not? I mean, we can see now we are in such a society that is so violent,
exceptionally violent.
So violent. I actually want to cry now, because it is just too much. You worry about children, you worry about yourself, you worry about. That's not a society that we have to live in, and we have to really, really do something about it.
And you're suggesting that it's the power of storytelling that will get people to root themselves more in sound values.
It is. Jack, when I did my show, particularly at the market, because that was another a place that opened my eyes differently. When I did Shwele Bawo, I think it was 2012 or 2008. I don't know.
And what's it? The I know that's the title, but there's a subtitle to it as well, right?
Shwele Bawo, A Grave Injustice.
A Grave Injustice, right?
Yeah. And a grave injustice does not necessarily explain what Shwele Bawo is, but it captures, I think it encapsulates what, the essence of the play.
Yeah.
I just feel that what's happening is a grave injustice.
Okay.
In that story for the protagonist, But what did I want to say earlier on, before that, when I was doing the show, gentlemen would come to me and say, I didn't know that I'm doing this. Thank you.
Sure.
And then you find another one who's come with a wife or girlfriend and says,
oh man,
hey, you should have told me. And by the way, I don't even know them, but he said, hey, you should have told me. I should have
you
come.
Should have told me.
I should have come alone first. And I remember when I first tested the waters before taking it to mainstream theater, I called a few friends, business and whatnot, every people in different spheres, and just to watch a few performances and give me their feedback, because it was also long and I needed to edit it.
Okay.
And it was interesting because the women from all colors, red, green, black, white, they said, leave it as is.
Oh.
Okay. And then the men said, you are harsh on culture. The black men said, you are harsh on culture. And then I said, okay, no problem. You just tell me where, and then I'll see, and then I'll correct it. And then they say, no, actually no. Well done, sister.
Oh,
well done,
wow.
And then the whiteys, white will say, there's a monologue. There's a character, a white character there. I call her a white bitch. And they would say, oh, you don't need that, you don't need it.
You don't need the white bitch.
It's,
okay.
It's a caricature. You actually don't need it. And I said, why? Well, the white ladies were saying, oh, leave it. Just leave it as is.
Yes. Yes.
So everybody, had their thing. But the point is, they agreed that it was a wonderful story to tell. And it made people think. People will still hang around in theater and says, Jesus, this is, I need to revisit how So we help people reflect. We help people, and the story would be very different from your actual experience of what you do, but you would still see where it goes. There was one white kid who was crying I think it was some school. And she says, I said, why are you crying, Nana? Because I had a Q&A after the show. I'm just crying. I'm crying not because, I haven't been through this. But I knew better. I'm older. I said, yes, that's fine. But it's good that you can actually get into someone's shoes.
Yes, she's feeling that.
You're
There's
feeling
empathy.
it. You're feeling it. But I also knew that, looking at the child, no. It's better if I say it's your story.
Yeah.
But the story is all of us.
Yeah.
When a child gets raped in anywhere, you have to feel it. I don't care who you are. Black, white, green. You have to feel it. When a man gets killed, you have to feel it. That's a brother. That's a father. That's someone's father. That's someone's brother. You see? So, and it takes us back to ourselves to say, what are we doing to ourselves? What are we doing to ourselves?
That's such a powerful and profound question. And you have to keep the show going then, right?
I have to. I really have to. It's funny. There were times, when I do it, I get so tired, Jack. I lose weight. Because also, the struggles of this industry where you would be marketing it yourself, producing it yourself,
Everything.
funding it, So it gets exhausting. It gets tiring, But right now, I'm now, particularly because over COVID period, people were asking me, have you got it on tape? Have you got it on, So now I'm thinking of the next step.
Right.
But I also want to take it, whilst I still have the energy, I want to take it myself, or, to places outside the theater, because that's where it's needed.
Tyelele Bao, A Grave Injustice. And that's an award-winning play, and because this is also one of the awards that Sis Motshabi won. We're going to have to talk about so many other productions as well after the break. So stay with us. You're on Reality Radio 919 on a Friday night. We'll come back after the short break.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Be a hero.
My hero.
Thank the security guard. Feel 919. From Dallas to Joburg, it's Kula on 919.
Join me, Kula, this Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. for the Freedom Day edition of the Stateside Connection. We're off to Switzerland and I'll be interviewing Mike Abramovitz about the Touch World Cup taking place this July. And then it's off to South America to catch up with a South African bringing biltong to the Colombian market. The Stateside Connection with me, Kula, only on 919.
We all love a good story. Stories of love and life. Stories that entertain and inspire. And the best stories are the ones that happen to be true. Every Friday night, Jack Devnerine is live in conversation with an iconic South African personality who shares the true stories that shape their remarkable lives. Join us for reality radio as real as it gets. From 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. every Friday night. Only on 919.
And we're back. It's Reality Radio on a Friday night with me, Jack Devnerine, Motshabi, Tyelele, in studio with me, talking about the remarkable stories that shaped her life. And it's been an incredible journey, one that's still unfolding because it's become so important. And as we were saying earlier, more important than ever, that the show must continue to change lives.
Yes.
Must continue to get people to confront their own fears and weaknesses and to see that I've been doing something wrong.
Yeah. I mean, when I hear now, I mean, everybody, everywhere you go, it's GBV.
Yes.
What kind of a society is that? So, and the more reason I think I still have a role to play.
Yeah.
Because here is a piece that addresses some, if not most, of these issues. And why not? And maybe we can even take it further and talk about it after that.
Yeah.
You know, so I look forward to another journey of bravery. But more than anything else, it also shows the skills for the young people, because, you know, I get young people saying, I'd love to work with you.
Yeah.
You know, can I come and just observe, you know, whilst you're rehearsing, so here's an opportunity where they would also see what acting really is all about. Moving from this character to that, to that. And I would like to believe that it's at the highest level.
Well, how many characters do you play in the show?
I think there are 6. Okay, I'm going to have to count. So that's Tyelele, Buntle, Rakadi, Nkhono, White Bitch.
That's a name.
And Black Bitch. Black Bitch is Chomza.
Okay.
Yeah. So about 6 or 7. Yeah.
That's
6,
incredible.
Yeah.
I think one of the things also that we get a lot from, and not just young people, by the way, people are fascinated by the industry and they want very much to have an insight into, can I do this? You know, can I learn? Because I see myself being maybe a presenter, maybe an actor, and they have these questions about, would you mentor me?
Yeah.
And I love to be able to do that, but there's no real opportunity to give people mentorship unless you're working on a production.
It's true, and this is why I think we need to create those platforms, particularly now that we are in, you know, the stage that we're in. This is the time when we have to really, really do that.
You mean at the twilight of our career?
I didn't want to put it that way, but we really have to do it. You know, I wanted to say something and it just came out of my head. You were talking about mentorship and
creating the platform for young people.
Yeah. Anyway, it will come back. It will come back.
Because that's something I take very seriously as well. Because people are surprised when they realize that seeing you on screen is just the final icing on the cake.
Yeah.
The world of work that goes into it before it even arrives there.
Oh, I got it. What I also wanted to say is the discipline, which I see that it has faded. With young people, there's no real discipline to really see, you know, that the theater also, it's a different ball game, and it really cooks you. You know, it really cooks you as a young actor. And I think it would be nice if most of, particularly those who are in television, should dabble with theater and get back, because this is where you really learn, you know. I go to the theater sometimes with I miss certain things, you know, the preparation, knowing that you prepare, you know. You don't come with your iPod, what do you call that, tablet?
Yes.
You know, and it's just that you've learned, you've read just your scene, and then for God's sake.
Yeah.
For goodness sake, and that's why the stories would lose their authenticity because you only know these little portions. And I think directors are treading carefully with these. I'm a hard teacher, so I don't care. As long as I know that I'm going to get the best out of you, whether you sulk or what, but you will get it right. So
I love that.
no.
Yeah.
We can't, because we have this culture of no discipline, no. Even getting on time. If I have said I'll come to the studio, or you have a voiceover, be on time. Don't come and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I had to drive." That's the attitude. I can't stand it, and they know I don't shut
know,
up
yeah.
when it comes to that. I'm like, no. You don't make me wait because you had to. The arrogance and it's like no, sweetheart. If you respect people within the industry, people that you work with, your journey is going to be longer. Maybe that's why we are still here.
Yeah.
You see, because it is that discipline, that respect.
And I think so often when you're coming into the industry, people want to know, are you theatre trained? Because if you say that you are, then it gives them an indication that you've learned discipline.
Yeah.
And that you've learned that there's a process.
Yes.
You can prepare your character. You are used to working within your own body, within your own space, in your own time. You're prepared to do the work outside of the production environment.
Yeah.
And when you arrive in the production, then you are ready to deliver.
Yes. Which is also said, it's said that they think on television or film, it shouldn't be like that.
Sure.
And
yeah.
I always say, if you look at, and I may be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you look at artists all over, actors all over the world, your best actors and actresses are theatre trained.
Right, yeah.
Are theatre trained, and even those that were not necessarily trained in the theatre, they do their homework.
Yeah.
They
there's
do.
discipline.
They've learned. They attend workshops. They attend, courses. They do this. So with us, I don't see, young people, when you say to them, go for these short little things, keep on keeping on.
Right.
Keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
You can't just walk on set. I mean, sometimes you hear the voices there and like, do a little bit of warm up, Okay, I'm a strict teacher.
Yes, I see that. But it's essential because, as you say, here we are still talking about the craft because we practice it still every day.
Yeah. I go to the theatre now and you can't even hear an actor who's on that stage, who's not articulating enough, who's not projecting enough for that whole, or I get mad. It's like, damn,
Yeah.
Who's the director?
And we used to have those teachers that used to insist and would be very hard on us and humiliate us and say, I can't hear you from the back.
Yeah, and enjoy the language because we are teaching people to enjoy the language and celebrate it and be clear.
Yeah.
When we speak and not mumble, we can't. Now it's a world of mumbling.
And it's such a privilege, though, because and I think people in our audience as well, those who've actually been on stage in a stage production, will know the feeling of arriving on stage, and you might not be able to see your audience, but you can sense them.
Yes.
There's an energy in front of you.
Yes.
And to think that group of people, whether it's 5 people or 500 people, have all submitted to this moment where they are allowing you to hold their attention.
Oh.
What a privilege is that?
What a privilege.
Oh, yeah.
What an honor. And therefore, I have to actually honor them back.
Yes, you have to honor that.
Yeah. And that's why I don't also like an audience member who would be late and then hush. And actually, this is my platform to talk. This is my chance. I'm using it, Jack.
Yes.
All of you audience out there, when you go to the theater, your phones must be off. Your phones must be off. I can't stand it. Now that I'm old, the other day I went to the theater. I was like, excuse me.
You told them to put the phone
Oh
up.
yes,
Oh, wow.
because
Excellent.
it's so destructive for that person who's on stage. All those
Yes.
blue lights.
Yes,
You've
exactly,
been
yeah.
told that switch
Yeah.
your phones off, and some of them I can see that they are recording.
No.
you know why? What are you going to do with that material?
No, that's unacceptable.
You see, it is so unacceptable, and I can't stand it. I swear, one day I'm sure one person is going to say, "Oh, it's not your show," but I will get you. So please make sure you switch off your phone. You stop eating popcorn in a theater with that. I was saying at the market theater the other day.
Yeah.
Here's a moment, some actor, my fellow colleague is performing, colleagues actually, they're performing there. I said, stop it. I was like, please.
Yeah.
There's no consciousness of that here. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no
You're not in
respect.
a movie house. You can do it in a movie house.
Yeah.
Yeah, go do that. But theater etiquette, please, let's go back. Let's go back and just respect the people, because there's nothing destructive when you are on stage in a very delicate moment,
Yes.
and then someone with a phone. And by the way, if they're not recording the whatever, they're answering SMSs or they're WhatsApp.
That's just not okay.
Or no, it's not. I stop them. I stop them. So you're gonna call me Miss whatever phone stopper in the theater.
Yes. I think if this is the right platform, because I think our audience knows that here we show respect to performers and their craft.
Yes.
And that it's okay to give them that message. I think it's
It is okay. And we said we have to teach. They said each one teach one,
Yeah.
we have to teach, and they have to hear us saying it, that as artists, please, it is destructive, respect me. You can't be walking in and out, particularly in the theater when we are on stage. It's not a stock fail. It's not. It is. We are here to tell you this beautiful story, and then let's walk out, and then we can.
And don't you think also the first responsibility for taking care of our craft is the actor?
It is the actor.
That's our first duty.
Yes.
We got to take care of each other.
Yes, we have to. That's why I feel responsibly in the theater. For example, when these things happen around me,
Yeah.
I can't keep quiet. I'm sorry.
No.
And I've earned the stripes.
Yes,
No,
you have.
oh yeah, oh no, I have.
You really have. And
In Pretoria, I did a show, and some kids were rowdy with teachers couldn't even get them to do anything.
Oh.
And once, the minute I did curtain call, I said, close the doors. No one is walking out. Close the doors.
Yeah.
And then I took them through. Tell me Ada, let's address this.
Yeah.
What was the, and then, and they learned, funny enough, and you think people know when something comes from a good place, because it's my interest, for them.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, here am I, I've honored you, and you could not do that?
Yeah.
What is the problem? Because then I have to reflect back and say, what is it that I did that deserves this?
And so you waited until curtain call. So you had completed the performance.
I stayed in the moment.
That's the gift. Oh, that's the discipline.
I stayed in the moment.
That's powerful.
And I managed to get them back through performance.
Yeah.
But the third person, you see the thing about acting, you are in the present tense, as in your present tense as Motshabi, and then as the character and as the actor with these people. It's like three different genres. You could be doing Shakespeare today, tonight, with 2024.
Yeah.
So it's that. But to hold it, it's also a skill.
And at some point, I'm going to ask you to come back onto the show to talk about the realities of working as a freelance actor in this country, the difficulties, the challenges, the opportunities, and how fulfilling it can be when it all comes together.
Oh my goodness.
But for tonight's show, it has all come together. You described so much about yourself. I'm so grateful.
Well, I hope so.
Thank you for being such an amazing teacher.
Oh, thank you, Boots.
And
Thank you so
also,
much.
the show has to go into new and an incredible new territory. Maybe it's going to be a different medium. Who knows? You could make that into a series or something.
Yeah.
But we have to encourage people to see it, because you're addressing some of society's most difficult ills, some of the most troubling issues that we have, and you confront them fearlessly.
Yeah. And by the way, it's been published in a book called At the Stage, Plays from Post-Apartheid South Africa. Wow. It's 4 plays in there, I think Mike van Grans, myself, and Lara Foot. I can't remember the Craig Higginson's place. Yeah.
All the veterans. But it's been incredible. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I hope it all made sense.
Of course it did. I hope you've had a lovely one. This is Friday Night Reality Radio. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you join us again next Friday night. 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. every Friday night is Reality Radio with me, Jack Devnarine. Have a great weekend.
Wow.